Good morning everyone and welcome to my craft room. I'm Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. I'm recording my normal video, my normal midweek video for you this week, mostly because it's Wednesday morning here, but I sadly have a family funeral at 10 o'clock, which is my usual going live time. So I thought record this one nice and early. Birds are still singing outside. And then I can schedule it for the time that you guys are used to seeing me online. Don't worry about, you can do all your normal commenting, please do, and I'll pop in after the funeral and have a wee look at the comments and reply to those. Anyway, today is a very personal crafting session, and forgive that light. As I say, it's really, really early in the craft room, so the sun is at quite a low angle. Quite a personal item for me today. This is a little box here that I've made for my son and daughter-in-law, Ben and Izzy, B and Y. It is Izzy with a Y. Yeah, to give them, they just want money to this Christmas because they're setting up their new little house. So they're going to buy a garden shed or something, I think they said. Anyway, so I'm going to pop, I've got a little box here. I'm going to pop some of those lovely gold chocolates on the inside with a little IOU or something that basically tells them to look in their bank account, because that's where I'm going to pop the money on Christmas Day. Anyway, or thereabouts. So I've got a little tray in there to hold those chocolates, and then I'll just slip the voucher down the bottom. So it's actually an exploding box card, and it really is quite explosive because I've left all those side bits in, which gives it sort of like a real explosion when it's opened up. So it's sort of like that, it really goes. Normally when I do my box cards, I cut these corner segments out and it just leaves like a cross, a red cross. But this time I thought I'd leave those in because I'm not doing all the extra layers that I sometimes do when I do these box cards. Haven't done one for such a long time. So just going to be like that with the lid on top as such under the Christmas tree. Only real new thing to show you in this is the lettering on the top, the B and the Y. This is the alphabet a la mode dies. Now these are in the upcoming mini catalogue, so available to customers from the 5th of January. So you might be interested in grabbing those. We haven't had an alphabet die for a fair while, or a nice size one anyway. This one comes with letters, numbers, so numbers 0 through to 9 as well. It also has all your letters and some sort of little abbreviations and the other language variations as well. So and there, which I'm using, a couple of little dots, some which use your accent grave and your that sort of thing there as well. So yeah, a very fine die, as you'll see when on top of the on top of that box. It's quite fine, so I'm struggling with it a wee bit, I have to be honest. It looks wonderful here, so that's one usage. It looks nice when you cut it and use it in relief. That looks good as well. I've done a card that way. But it doesn't, like if a lot of our big thicker alphabet dies, you could actually put flowers and things on the actual letters. It doesn't show up so well with these lovely fine lettering. Anyway, but it's perfect. It's quite wonderful in this use. Okay, so another thing to point out is that I am using the Boughs of Holly again, designer series paper. This is the beautiful poinsettia one. And the last time I looked, which was about 2 seconds ago, the paper is still available. It's while stocks last, as part of our last chance sale, and it's down to $12.60 Australian per pack. So that's down from $21. So that's a really good saving for your last minute Christmas crafting. If you're anything like me, it's all last minute. So anyway, so there we are. So as I say, the Boughs of Holly designer series paper, $12.60. Okay, so let's get going. I have done all my cutting and scoring, and I'll put all the details, measurements, etc. on my website. Maybe not before the funeral, but definitely this afternoon. So I'm starting with a the largest piece, or largest square piece of Cherry Cobbler Designer Series paper that I could manage with A4 paper. So it's basically 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and has been scored into a sort of a, what do you call it, sort of like a noughts and crosses, tic-tac-toe square there, sort of there and there and there and there. So that's it's basically scored 2 3/4 in from every edge. So 2 3/4 in from there, 2 3/4 in from there, in from there, and in from there. And the only thing, as I say, normally I would then cut those corners out to give us our cross, but this time I've actually just taken my scoring machine, my scorer blade, and scored from the junction there of the scores to the crossroads out to the corner. So crossroads out to the corner, crossroads out to the corner, and that's giving our box this wonderful explosive sort of appearance. Now, I don't have 12 by 12 cardstock as a rule. I don't generally have it at home, but if you have 12 by 12 cardstock, you can make, this is only a cheap, nasty, non-Stampin' Up! White cardstock, which is the only 12 by 12 I had. You can cut yourself a exactly 9 by 9 square, obviously, with the, and then these scores are all at exactly 3 inches from the edge. So 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches. So it's the same thing. The box is going to be slightly larger. As I say, if you have 12 by 12 cardstock, you can go that little bit further and all your measurements will be exactly 3 inches. Okay, but since I didn't have that in the Cherry Cobbler, we're going slightly smaller. Okay, so we'll get going with this one. So as I say, we've got it all scored. I may get my bone folder and burnish all these. Diagonal ones anyway, but straight ones, parallel ones. Okay, so now, excuse me, now what you need to do is grab your corner and fold that diagonal in. Okay, so you get to do it 4 times. Basically, grab your 2 corners and fold that in. Okay, and bring it over to the side. And you might want to get your bone folder into that corner if you can. Couldn't work out an easier way to do this last night, so I'm just doing it the hard way, I suppose, and burnish those as well so they fold nice and sharp. Here we are. So that is going to be the base of our little box. Okay, there we are. So really that's all we need to do for that at the moment. We'll just pop that aside. We'll make our lid. So again, don't worry about the measurements. I'll pop them up as soon as I possibly can. But this makes a 2 3/4 square box. So 2 3/4 cube, I suppose. So you want your lid to be slightly smaller. So the lid is going to make a 2 3/4. That's 2 3/4. So 2 7/8. Yep, I think. I'll check my measurements. Yeah, it's slightly larger anyway. So 2. Yep, so 2 7/8. So the piece of paper itself, there's an inch added on at either end. So it's 4 7/8 squared, and it's just been scored an inch in from every corner, every side. So an inch in, an inch in, an inch in, and an inch in. So yeah, so 4 7/8 square, scored an inch, and it leaves you with a 6 7/8 inch lid. I'll just burnish these again. And I'm going to cut those little tags, and that's what we're going to do our gluing. I'll just grab my scissors. Just pick a side, it doesn't really matter, and cut in from the edge along the score line into that cross where the 2 lines cross. So just pick one opposite edges and go in. There we are. And those are going to curl under. That will curl up, and that gives you your nice little quick lid as such. So I'm going to use, I might use double-sided tape for this, only so I don't have to sit and hold it for ages while the glue dries. I think my hubby said he was going into work early today, so he may well interrupt this little video, but that's okay. Or he might just leave without saying goodbye. Who knows? Okay, so I'm just going to take these little covers off, curl that up and under, and firm it down. And that is our little lid. Oh, I know what I didn't get out, and I'm going to use it, so I'm going to have to get it out anyway. Is when I make die cutting, I'm going to use my little new machine, so I'll get that out with you in a minute. Okay, so there's our little lid, and you'll see we'll bring in our box again, because we've measured it slightly larger than the box. It fits in really nice and snug. Okay, so what to do now? Let's do some decorating of that lid. So bring the lid in. Okay, so I have gold foil and that Boughs of Holly designer series paper, and you can tell that this is a special one for family because I'm actually using the whole sheet of gold foil rather than sort of cutting the middle out so that I could get an extra use out of it. So there you go. I hope the children appreciate such things. Okay, so I've cut the gold foil to, so that's a 2 7/8. I think this would be 2 5/8. Yep, 2 5/8, and then the paper would be 2 1/2. Now, be careful when you're doing gold foil, gluing to gold foil, because it's like gluing onto ice, and it will move even though you think you've got it nice and you've put it in the right spot and held it for a few seconds. It can move if it's disturbed, because obviously as I say, it's like you're gluing something onto ice. But anyway, so that's going to sit just on top of our little lid there. Okay, cool. So that's the lid. Okay, so we'll come in around the edges, and each of these it's 1 inch high. So I've got 4 pieces of gold foil, hopefully 4. I know I cut 4. Yep, 4 pieces of gold foil. These are 2 5/8 long and 3/4 of an inch high. And I've got, again, the corresponding pieces of designer series paper. Glue these on. Just going to check what hubby's doing. I can hear him hovering behind the door. Are you going to work? Yeah. Okay, see you then. Okay, he's off. He was hovering. Okay, so we're going to pop each of our 4 pieces of designer series paper onto our gold. And these are going to go around the edges of our lid. No expense spared. Okay, so they are there. Okay, and so we'll pop those on now as well. making sure that they don't move. These little top bits lifted away a bit. The gold foil is bent at a different angle to the cardstock, so they're not quite meshing, but that's all right. The glue will take eventually. Only card maker would notice that anyway, won't they? The kids will go, oh, cute box, and then open it up and that'll be it. They might not even say cute box. I reckon probably the partners will say cute box. My boys will just go, oh yeah, can I eat it? Actually, I won't be able to use those particular brand of gold chocolates in the one for Sammy because he's allergic to hazelnuts, so he'll have to have something else. Okay, so that's our 4 edges, and our box is pretty much all blinged up for the start anyway. I might let that just dry for a tick. Now, around the edges of our box, we're going to pop the same sort of gold pattern, or gold layering. Now, I could do whole sheets of the gold and the paper, but the way I see it is once the lid's on, that top bit's sort of hidden anyway. So you can see on Ben and Izzy's here that I've just taken those up to, you know, roughly where the lid ends. And I think it's sort of nice. It gives it a bit of a structure as well. Okay, so these ones, they're also the same length. I think they'd be 2 5/8 long. They're 1.5 inches high. There should be 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. There should be 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 4 of them. I might have to cut another one. Gosh, don't like that. I'll have to cut another one. I'll check the floor first. It's not on me. It's not on the floor. It's under something. No. I'll have to cut another one. More gold foil. Okay, so here's my piece of gold foil. So what did I say they were? 2 5/8 wide, long, and 1.5 inches high. I'll probably find it now. It's always the way. Two and 5/8. 2 and 5/8. 1.5 inches. There we are. That's weird because I definitely cut 4. It'll be here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to do the same as we did with the lid. Pop the designer series paper onto the gold foil. And just leave it aside for a sec to cure for a wee bit. Okay, so that's our 4 sides of our box. There we are. And I've got another piece here of gold. I tell you what, definitely no expense spared. This is going to pop in the center of our card here, and then I'm going to pop made a little tray to sit on it there in the center. The original version had a sort of a weird gift card arrangement, which I decided wasn't much good because, yeah, first of all, I'm not giving them gift cards, and then it wasn't actually big enough to pop anything of a substance in there. So I decided on the tray, and I'll buy them, as I say, buy them some lollies and sort of use that to wedge the IOU into. So that's there just in the center. That's going to be in the center when it explodes like that. And the little tray is basically it's the same design as the lid, basically the same design as the lid, but I think it's because this is 2.5, this gold, so I think it's going to be 2 3/8. Yeah, 2 3/8 wide, and it's only got 1/2 inch sides. As I said, don't worry too much. I may not get it done before the funeral, but I'll definitely pop all the measurements up for you, and the products used as well. Remember, this designer series paper, Boughs of Holly, is currently on sale for $12.60. And you're not really using all that much of it, so you get lots and lots of beautiful boxes if you decide out of that. Now I'm going to, because this is such a little box and the glue takes a while to cure off, I'm going to use a little bit more of an immediate adhesive. I might use double-sided tape again, but tiny little pieces. It's not tiny enough. There will be tiny little pieces. Okay. Same as we did with the lid, I've cut the little tabs through to the center, through to the cross score, and then just fold it up to create the little tray. There we are. That's that little tray there. Okay, so bring back our base. This is going to sit just in the middle of that gold. You'll only just see a tiny sort of edge of that gold. Probably could do without the gold, but I thought, oh well, in for a penny. And then I might use double-sided tape again. Just cleaned up the floor of the craft room too. I'm going to have to do it again now with all these little backings and bits of stuff all over the place. So I'm popping that. I'm trying to get it in the center, so you see the little, you see the little, just little tiny trim of gold around the edge there. Okay, so that's our little box. As I say, I'm going to buy some of those nice gourmet chocolates and pop them in there, and then sort of wedge their voucher or whatever it is, you know, look at your bank account or something smarmy in the center there. Okay, so let's close that up. You have to be a little bit careful when you're closing it up when you've got that in there, because those little exploding bits might get caught on your tray. But if you're careful, you can close it down, pop the lid on, and that'll stay nice and secure. Okay, so let's add our outside pieces. And then all we really have to do is make the initials for the top. So I'll finally show you those beautiful new dies. So I'm going to line up. I'm lining up the piece at the top, the small one, the lid decorations with the base, just like that. You're probably thinking, oh, wait a minute, you've made this gold foil a bit wider than it should be. And that's true, because the lid was actually larger than the base to fit on, but I wanted that uniformity, the same sort of dimensions on the top and the bottom, rather than have it staggered. If that makes sense. If this was smaller, it wouldn't be the same as the top and the bottom. Anyway, it made sense in my head. Okay, that's a bit crooked. So once I've got all these in the right spots, I might take the lid off, let it explode, and I'll sort of press each of them down and give them a few seconds to take. Make sure they're all attached, because the back of gold foil is just about as slippery as the front of gold foil. Okay, so there we are. That's our little bottom all decorated as well. Okay, so all I really need to do now is to pop the initials on the top. Sam, obviously, is my son. His partner's name is Hannah, with a H. So I'm going to grab a very skinny piece of gold foil. And I am going to grab my, excuse me while I head off the camera. I have had it out of the box, but I popped it back in. I'm going to keep those. This is my mini boho blue mini cut and emboss machine. Now this beautiful little machine is part of you can choose it, okay, because there's 3 options. You can choose it as part of your starter kit if you join during celebration. It's the most adorable little machine. You guys know that if you watch me normally, you know I love my little white one. But this boho blue is absolutely to die for. Now I'm going to use the plates from my little white machine, basically because I want to keep the plates of the blue one nice and new, because we really haven't decided what to do with it after celebration is over. Part of me is playing with the idea of giving it away as a prize, and if I did that, I'd want to give you the nice clean new plates as well. So I'll use my existing plates for this. But yes, so I don't know. It could be a gift. It could be a prize. It could be I could just sell it. Who knows? I'll see how I'm progressing, how celebration goes. If we have a lovely celebration, I might just feel the love and give it away, or give away my other one. Okay, so these are the Alphabet a la mode dies, as I mentioned, starting in the new mini catalogue. I've got my little piece of gold. So I've got my S for Sammy. I don't know how I'm going to go popping them all through at once. I might just, my H for Hannah. I'll just do 2 at a time. These 2 first. And come back with the and in a second. Oh, it's so smooth and new. Love it. I do love that colour. So check out my Facebook page for the details of the joining offer. I have been popping preview posts up already. So as I say, this beautiful little machine is one of the options. Not just this machine, you can obviously choose a whole lot of product at a huge discount as part of one of the options as well. Celebration's definitely the time of year to join Stampin' Up if you're thinking about it. Lots of great specials, sales. Then also, once you are a demonstrator, you actually get all the great celebration freebies even cheaper or for even less, which is great. So there we are, beautiful little blue machine. Hopefully that colour comes out for you. I'll pop him back in the box down there and I'll pack him up again after the video. Okay, so I've got my Sam and Hannah. Now, not that you can see that there, you'll see it when I pop it on here. They are so fine that glue, you have to be really, really careful if you're using glue. If you have those double-sided adhesive die cut sheets, I would probably suggest giving those a go. I don't possess them, I never have. Probably should now that these are the letters are in, but I'm just going to be really careful with my glue. Oh, I was going to put the and in first because I want that in the centre. So I've just popped glue on the S. I'll pop my and because it's got to be in the centre of the of the box lid. So I'll pop that in there. I'll try and get it central, top and bottom. Little excessive glue, what a surprise. I'm just going to grab a wipe and just pat off some of that glue. Now I've lost my vision. There we are. It's good. We're heading for half an hour, which is good. I hoped that because now I have to pop and have a shower. Get ready for the funeral. Okay, so I'll grab my little S now. S and H. And now my H for Hannah. My youngest, which is Sammy, which is this one's 4, and Hannah will move to Launceston, which is Tasmania's second largest city, and it's up north on the north coast or the north central. It's all towards the coast. I don't think it's actually on the coast. Anyway, they're moving up to Launceston. Hannah has finished her doctor training, so she's doing her first year out at the general hospital there, public hospital, and Sammy's going to work as an engineer at a manganese place, which is a little bit out of Launceston to the north. So yeah, so they're going to use their money to set up their little rental house that they've got up in Launceston. So there's my Sam and Hannah. As I say, really nice, sort of classy, decorative lettering that. So watch out if you'd like some new letters and numbers in your craft room. Look out for this one. So I'm going to just use some pearls, some of the festive pearls. Best news we got recently is that the festive pearls are remaining current stock. So we'll be able to keep ordering them after the mini catalogue finishes. Don't know whether that means they're coming into the annual catalogue or they'll just be available online, not actually being in a catalogue as such, but they will be orderable. Okay, so I'm going to use 5. I tried to use like 6 or 4, like 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, but I just couldn't do it because it always has to be an odd number. So I'm going to use 5, which might seem a bit weird, but it's purely what is it? Superstition. I didn't want to jinx it by using an even number. Okay, I'm weird, but you guys knew that already. So I'm just going to pop those in 2 little lines there across the top and the bottom. There we are. So that's Sam and Hannah's done. So I'll pop that in, bring back our little base, put the lid on. Fits perfectly because we have designed that lid to be slightly larger, so it'll slip in without too much issue. And there it's done. There we go. And I'll bring back in Ben and Izzy's, which was the original one. So hopefully you like that design, and you can make a few for yourself. Really fun. And I mean, honestly, you could fit quite a substantial gift inside that little box, even a jewelry case or something like that. It definitely would fit. A pair of socks even would fit in something that size, or a tie, or whatever you wanted to give. There we go. So that is my 2 Christmas boxes for my 2 boys and their partners for Christmas. Definitely fairly scrumptious there as far as with the gold and the paper. So you've seen me use the Alphabet a la mode dies available from the 5th of July, and you've seen me use the Boughs of Holly Designer Series paper, which is on special for $12.60 until while stocks last, or to the 4th of January, whichever happens first. Okay, so thanks for joining me today, guys. So hopefully you enjoy this one when it goes live. As I say, I will pop in with the instructions and check out all your comments after the funeral this morning. So anyway, bear with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you hopefully live over the weekend. Okay, bye.